which men can be saved. There is no other name under heaven.
So now that we've got that carefully put down, we need to understand that the whole process about this washing of the feet is an act of humility to demonstrate the love of God, to demonstrate the love of Jesus towards his disciple. You do it, you will demonstrate the love that you have for the brethren. It also demonstrates and help you to get away from the idea of wanting to be superior over the brethren, to be honored and glorified, you see. So this act is an act that should be performed even today. And it will help. So let's get back to where we left off. Now Jesus, again, he says in verse 17, he says, if you know these things, happy are you if you do them. If you know these things, what we've just talked about here, this washing, which is so very important, and it's leading up to something very special. He said, if you know this and you do it, then you'll be happy. Happy, you'll be free from a lot of things that would try to bring you down or to turn you away from the love of God. He says, I speak not of you all. Now listen carefully what Jesus is going to say here. He said, I speak not of you all. I know who I have chosen, but that the scriptures may be fulfilled. He that eateth bread with me hath lifted up his heel against me. You can remember, in the very beginning, in Genesis, chapter 1, chapter 3, after Adam and Eve had committed that sin and subjected themselves to the temptation of the devil, and God came on the scene and he imposed a judgment upon them, and he was talking about the woman's seed, giving you an idea what's going to happen. See, the devil is going to bruise the heel of Jesus soon. He says, now I tell you before it come, that when it come to pass, ye may believe that I am he. Jesus did many things to let his disciples know and believe that he is a prophet, that he is the Messiah. He does things, he prophesies to them. He does miracles upon miracles. He says things, he uses his omniscience, he uses his omnipotence. He does all of this because he wants them to understand they are his children and he will not abandon them. And in spite of the fact that even up until now, halfway in Jesus' ministry, he is with them and he is standing with them. He knows that they are weak. He knows that this whole Christian life is a process, and it's an ongoing process until we go to be with Jesus, and we will fall and we will get up again. But the one that's a failure is the one who falls and doesn't get up. But if you fall and you get up again, you're a victor and not a victim. And this is the attitude that we need to have. Jesus fell carrying the cross, but he got up again because this is something that he had to do. And he was determined to do what the Father had commissioned him to do. And he said in verse 20, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receiveth whomsoever I send receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. See now the word sent, apostolos, from the Greek. Sent, an apostle is one that is sent. And he's saying, whosoever receiveth me, receiveth the one that sent me. And now we have this great and terrible moment that's coming up. And who else is going to be, if I want to say, the head man in this terrible act is none other than Judas Iscariot, son of Simon. Verse 21 says, here is Simon. Sometimes I wonder, we do have many such type of people even today. And they would claim to be your friend, and somewhere down the road, that friend betrays you. What do? What do you do with such a friend? Well, you don't want to hold that in your heart. You've got to move on. You've got to have that forgiving attitude. But then there are some that God will deal with. Now, the Bible says when Jesus thus said, he was troubled in spirit and testified, and he said, verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Jesus felt that urge in his spirit, and he became troubled. It's the same way he felt. Now this is death we're talking. He is visualizing himself on the cross, dying for the sins of the world. And the moment has come. He cannot prolong this. In the Gospel of Luke, in the garden, Luke 22, he's praying and he's asking the Father, is there any other way we can do this? And then he said, never mind, not my will, but your will be done. He's not saying, look, I don't want to do this anymore. He was contemplating, he was thinking about, how could I be separated from God? To be separated from God is one of the most disastrous things that can ever happen to anyone, to be separated from God the Father. And this is what happens when we reject Jesus Christ and His Word. When the time comes, when your moment comes that your life will be taken, you will be separated from God into a place called hell. That's the worst thing, my friend, that can ever happen.